My third project was on the prevention of a UCL injury in pitchers. The UCL is a triangular ligament in the elbow that connects the humerus to the ulna and stabilizes the entire elbow joint. Since there is so much stress put on the UCL during overhead throwing sports such as baseball, it is the most common injury for pitchers. The athlete I worked with was Jaden Aquino. He has played baseball for 12 years and is going into his senior season on varsity. Since Jaden has been pitching for such a long time and so frequently, he has developed pain on the inside of his elbow in the past few years. There are a number of strategies that can be employed to reduce the likelihood of an injury to the pitcher's UCL. Most of the strategies have the goal of taking the force off of the UCL by eliminating excess stress or putting it on a stronger area. The ones I worked on with Jaden were to develop a good changeup, limit the number of pitches he throws per game, prevent early trunk rotation, strengthening exercises, and most importantly, to stop throwing when he feels pain. The first thing we looked at to help prevent UCL injury was Jaden's changeup. The changeup is an off-speed pitch that is thrown with the purpose of throwing off the hitter's timing and therefore making them connect with weak contact or miss altogether. By developing a good changeup, pitchers do not have to rely solely on their curveballs and other breaking pitches that significantly stress the UCL. There are a few types of changeups, but Jaden throws what is called a circle change. The name comes from the position of the pitcher's thumb and index finger that forms a circle on the side of the ball. The pitch is thrown by the pitcher holding the ball deep in their hand, which causes the ball to take longer to come out and makes the pitch slower. Also, the pitcher snaps their hand inward, causing the ball to drop off and to the right if the pitcher is right-handed. I have been working with Jaden on his changeup, and it is proving to be very effective. He will use it more often this season, which will decrease the frequency he will have to throw his curveball. The next thing I discussed with Jaden is limiting his pitches thrown per game. As a pitcher becomes more fatigued throughout a game, the risk of injury increases. One way to try to limit the number of pitches he throws in a game without taking him out is to limit the pitches he throws to each hitter. Instead of Jaden trying to strike out every batter, which often takes 5 to 6 pitches, he should focus more on pitching to weak contact, which means getting easy grounders or pop-ups. When it comes to the point where Jaden is very fatigued, he needs to come out of the game. Pitchers often try to fight through any pain they feel to continue pitching, but if they want to protect their UCL and whole arm, it is important that they know their limit and when it is time for them to come out. Another key point to protect the UCL is to prevent early trunk rotation. When a pitcher rotates their trunk too early, their arm lags behind the rest of their body, which puts excess force on the elbow and shoulder. One thing that often leads to this is a pitcher having the tendency to drop their glove. When they deliver the ball, pitchers are supposed to tuck their glove into their chest. By dropping it, their whole arm drops and their entire chest rotates too early. When their arm falls behind the rest of their motion, it causes them to extend their arm, which puts all the stress directly on their UCL. Next, we looked at exercises to strengthen the muscles surrounding the elbow and other parts of the body that can help stabilize the elbow and relieve some of the stress put on the UCL. To protect the UCL, we mainly targeted 4 muscles. The forearms are one of the most important muscle groups to strengthen. By tightening the forearm muscles, the entire elbow becomes more stable, and stress while pitching is taken off of the ligament and put onto the muscle. Next, we targeted the traps because they are what holds the whole arm in a 90-degree angle. When the traps are weak, the arm flies out of its proper slot and places all the force on the elbow. Finally, we targeted the biceps and triceps. When these muscles are strong, they help compress the elbow and tighten it so it isn't loose and moving around during the delivery. Each exercise should be done for 3 sets with increasing weight as the athlete progresses. Power clean is an extremely important in preventing a UCL injury. When you build entire body strength, you are able to rely on other muscles while pitching instead of strictly using your arm. Also, power clean is beneficial for strengthening your traps, which helps keep your arm in the correct throwing plane. The next exercise is barbell reverse wrist curls. These are one of the most important exercises in strengthening the forearms. By repeatedly flexing and extending the wrist, the flexors of the forearm get a great workout. After the barbell wrist curls is fat grip reverse curls. These are important because they strengthen the forearms and the biceps, which both provide pressure to the UCL to stabilize it. The fourth exercise is the wrist roller. This is a bar with a cable that attaches to a dumbbell. The athlete rolls the bar continuously until the dumbbell reaches the top and then rolls it back to the floor. On the way up, the flexors of the forearm are being worked, and on the way down, the extensors of the forearm are being worked. The second to last exercise are plate walks. Because of the awkward grip that the athlete has on the plate, it is very difficult and works multiple parts of the forearms. As the athlete's strength increases, they can increase their weight to a 25 or 45-pound plate. The final exercise is band tricep pull-downs. When pitchers have weak triceps, they often feel like their elbow is shaking because it's so unstable. By increasing the strength of the muscle, it compresses the elbow and the UCL, which stabilizes the entire joint. The final and arguably most important aspect of preventing UCL injury is to immediately stop throwing when they feel pain. Pain from the UCL presents itself on the medial side of the elbow. Pitchers need to recognize this pain and notify their coach to take them out of the game so they can stop the destruction before their UCL is completely torn. It is hard to measure results in an injury prevention, but Jaden's strength in his surrounding muscles has increased, and he said that his elbow feels more stable while pitching. By following this program, the likelihood of a UCL injury will be decreased, but it is important to remember that it does not ensure that you will never sustain an injury to your UCL. Thank you.